Do you have overhead power cables coming from a telegraph pole to your house, or are they underground?
No, underground.
Yeah, so what they're doing is you're running power off the grid. It's coming underneath your front lawn somehow, and it pops up and it goes into your power box.
Oh,
so what they can do is they can run a line from the curb up into your box, or what they would do is they'll put a separate NBN box next to where your meter is.
You're used to people running things up to your box anyway, though, aren't you, Vince?
How about shut the fuck up, man? He's telling me about the fucking NBN, you stupid cunt, so shut up.
Sorry.
So a man will come and he'll service your box and...
Oh, okay.
Mini-sode!
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
So, Wayne, are you going to survive, or do you just want me and Stu to talk Lakers?
Oh, man. I'm struggling a bit. I'm gassed.
How about those Cavs?
Yeah.
Did I pick the Cavs?
You did.
You did?
Well, you picked the Cavs against the Pacers.
Yeah.
Not versus. We didn't get to make our picks for the Toronto series.
That's right. Well, just so everyone knows, I would have picked him against Toronto. So
you would have. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think we all would have after they got rid of the Pacers, but
There was,
I don't know. I don't know if I'd have picked a sweep.
I thought
no,
Toronto,
probably not a sweep. I thought the Raptors.
The LeBronto.
I thought the Raptors might have pinched too, but yeah, sweep. Very surprising.
I've never seen a team lie down and take it like the Raptors did in that series. That was woeful. I mean, it wasn't rape because they didn't say no, but it wasn't far off either.
Oh
That's
God.
all I'm saying.
Whoa.
Man, I'm so puzzled. I'm almost with you, Vince. I think they need to blame this all on Drake. They need to get a new mascot.
Oh, please do not mention that peanut's name, please.
But I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually disappointed in lots of missed opportunities, but I'm actually a little bit disappointed in DeRozan because I feel like not that he wet the bed, but I felt like he just gave up. Honestly, I feel like he gave up. That ejection today in that game, the sitting of the fourth quarter, I mean, I just get, like, not once in this series did he guard fucking LeBron. Like, I'm sorry, I thought you were from the school of fucking Kobe. Like, you know, I thought you had that Mamba mentality, DeRozan. Like, I think...
Oh, Wayne.
Oh, no, you need to... He's the franchise guy. You know, they're surely in a 4-game series, Vince, surely in a 4-game series, you want to take that challenge.
No, but I was just going to say there's only one Mamba mentality, and he's retired, okay? And there's only one person in the school of Mamba, and that's Kobe. That's it. They shut it when he left.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like he's a big Kobe fan. Like modeled a lot of his game. You know, studied the footwork of Kobe and stuff like that. And I was just like, man, like I'm so disappointed in his effort in what he brought to the table, especially the last 2 games. And I don't know, as a franchise guy, look, I know you can't stop LeBron, and maybe it's on Casey. Maybe you got to throw fuck, man, you can't have Kyle Lowry guard LeBron James.
No.
You just threw away your Coach of the Year candidate.
I think it was a poor coaching series. I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think he was... I'm not going to say he was out-coached because he looked down the other bench and just Tyronn Lue. So I don't think he was out-coached.
Sure.
But I don't think he reacted well enough. And for whatever reason, DeRozan doesn't come across to me as somebody who would mail in a series. I don't know if he gave up. I don't know what the go was, but he certainly didn't... he didn't leave it on the court, and that shits me.
Games...
Because he should have gone out shooting, or he should have gone out trying, or he should have, I don't know. The points per game production was rubbish from him. From the franchise guy, it wasn't enough.
By now, if you're listening to this show, you're probably seeing like the stats thrown up on Facebook and things like that. You know, LeBron had just as much productivity as Lowry and DeRozan combined for this series. I think that says it all. I mean, hats off to LeBron, man. Like, you know, I hang shit on him, and he just hit another gear this series. I think the Indiana series really sort of shook him and woke him up when, we need to pull our finger out. Well, I don't know how much more he can carry this team, but fuck, it's fun watching. But I was just
He got a bit of
super.
support this series though. He got more than against Indiana.
He did.
I'm glad my all points bulletin missing persons worked on Kevin Love. Clearly, he listens to the show or reads my Facebook wall. But like Benson said, he got more support this series. Love woke up. What I loved seeing was LeBron throw the ball into Kevin Love, and they're letting him go to work. They had no one who could stop Kevin Love. Kyle Korver on the catch and shoot, he's been a dead-eye dick probably apart from one game.
Yep.
J.R. Smith, I don't know if he stopped smoking doobies or what, but he woke up.
I know, it's like this playoff JR.
And they just look so much more potent. I mean, it's stating the bloody obvious, but they look so much more potent, so much more dangerous when Kevin Love plays like this, and even J.R. Smith. It's night and day.
Dare I say it as well, Tristan Thompson's giving him good minutes.
Oh, he didn't do much today.
But
I mean, in terms of series, it's night and day. I mean, I don't know. He's a guy. There are guys in the league who just know what to do in big games, and they know what to do when it's on the line. I think he's one of those guys who knows what he's got to do. And
Really?
Yeah, how was that?
Oh man!
Can I just say, Tyronn Lue gets a bad rap.
It's because you're shit.
It's because he has this dumb look on his face every time the camera gets in. That's why.
Yeah.
But he made some adjustments. He's put Korver in the lineup. He's thrown Kevin Love the ball. You got him credit where credit's due.
Oh, I do. I just think it's fun to rag on him because he just looks like a lost turtle or a frog or something. He just looks lost every game.
I see, whenever I see his head, I think of a microphone. Got like a microphone head.
I just think of that the
Like
wind in the
Wayne's.
willows. He looks like the
Wind in the willows. So Wayne, are you still with us, Wayne? Or
Yeah, sorry, I'm just holding back coughs.
me and Benson, we're giving you our finest comedy, and you just giving us nothing.
Well, look, Cleveland obviously.
Still nothing.
Cleveland advanced
you
through.
want to dial down that enthusiasm, Wayno.
Jesus Christ, man. We'll put one leg on my shoulder, one leg on Benson's, and we'll carry him, mate. Don't worry.
Mate, back on subject. Back on subject, guys.
Yes.
Like, Cleveland obviously advancing through now to the conference finals. I think Casey's gone from Toronto after this.
Really?
We talked about this at the start of the year. I mean, it's kind of funny, like, watching today's game, I just kept thinking back to what we always tend to say is that it's a new season when the playoffs start, you know? Like, it doesn't matter what you've done through a regular season, anything can happen in the playoffs, and this was kind of a prime example of it. I mean, it didn't matter at the end of the day that Toronto had, you know, the best record in the Eastern Conference. You know, they stumbled their way through that Washington series, and then they laid down against the Cavs. I mean, for my money, it's time to do some drastic changes. I mean, drastic changes.
Well, Wayne, there's 3 certainties in life.
Oh, here we go.
Death, taxes, and Kyle Lowry underperforming in the playoffs. Okay? I think he'll come close to losing his job, Dwayne Casey. But I think at the end of the day, they'll keep him. And like myself, Benson, and you have said, they need to tinker with this roster, make some moves. They just don't have enough. They've got every year we say the same thing. Don't trust them in the playoffs. And every year it happens. I don't know who they can bring in, but they've got to bring in someone.
Can I hit you guys with my ridiculous trade idea?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a 3-team trade. And
Yep, go.
I'm not sure if the money lines up. You might have to sprinkle in some picks, you know, some benchies, some expiring contracts or something. But I think at the core, it works for all 3 teams.
Hit it with us.
Okay.
Before you go on,
Yes.
This isn't an attempt to get rid of Chandler Parsons, is it?
No, it does not involve the Grizzlies to everyone's satisfaction.
No.
My deal is
Carry
this. Kyle Lowry to OKC. Melo to Charlotte. Kemba Walker to Toronto.
Ooh, Wayno.
That's my trade idea. We talk about OKC and, you know, I think this year for OKC, we just touched on the last show about Westbrook and, you know, possibly, you know, for him to have a change up and for them to move forward, that it might be a good idea to switch in Westbrook to the 2 spot so they have a decent guard to get everyone involved. I mean, Melo still wants to be the man. I figure with Dwight, he could probably do that out in Charlotte, and they would run the offense through him. And then as far as
he'd get to wear Jordan all the time,
right? So that's not going to hurt him. And then Toronto, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, Kemba is big games. Kemba steps up, and as much as that would rock the boat with, you know, that whole friendship between Lowry and DeRozan, I think a good shake-up and not playing with his best buddy might actually light a bit of a fire under his ass.
You know, Wayno, we're going to sleep on it, but I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if the salaries line up. I'd make that. I think all three teams make that trade, Wayne. I'm on board with it.
Oh, I was ready to defend and fight. I was bobbing and jabbing.
Like, I don't know if the Thunder want to play Westbrook at the 2. I mean, I would, because he just loves to shoot the freaking ball.
Yeah.
But I like it. Yeah, you should be sick more often. You come up with good ideas.
I know, right?
Jeez.
Yeah, OKC are going to need the points as well. I mean, because Paul George and Melo are going to go anyway, so you may as well flick Melo to something.
My only hesitation is, does Melo now not have a no trade clause? Like, just once he waived that from New York, that was it? That was done? Or
I'm not sure how that works. I think so. But can I ask you a question? If you're Melo, you've earned a shit ton of money, right?
Yeah.
You've got a player option for $28 million, and I know that's a lot of money. But if I'm him and I've been really smart with my money and I'm making money off the court with this, that, and whatnot, I'm just going to go, you know what? Okay, see, it's been weird. It hasn't been fun. I'm out of here. Pick who I'm going to sign with. I'm going to take the minimum, and I'm going to try and win a championship with a contender.
I'll tell you why that won't happen. Because ego and the end of the series statement by Melo himself. His refusal...
But he's not a bench guy.
Yeah, his refusal to take a bench role on that squad, he could have had green light, he could have had offense run straight to him if he would have been prepared to sacrifice, being the key word, sacrifice. He's not prepared to do that. And that's why he's not going to win shit.
You don't think he can get himself a starter's spot on a championship squad?
I'm just saying that on that OKC team, that's what they needed from him, and he refused to sacrifice. And that's why he didn't get shit happening. That's why the season ended up the way it did, and that's why they got bounced.
I want him to retire in Denver. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Ooh. Look, thank goodness Philly got a game on Boston today. I did not want to see that team get swept. But in saying that, my hat's totally off. This Boston squad, bloody hell. If anyone was questioning Brad Stevens, you just need to be watching this series, because what he's done with this team, this depleted team, has just been phenomenal.
2 words. Al Horford.
Oh, my goodness.
Damn straight. I honestly, if he was ever put on the block, I would offer up anybody on our roster for him. I mean that.
Really? Well, not at his age now. Like I know he's not old. He's only 30, but no.
I was going to say he's only 30 or 31 years old. He's been there. Yeah. He's done that. And for a young team like us, we need somebody like that. I honestly, mate, he's great.
He's the anchor, man.
But yeah, look, I mean, quite a few. I mean, you might have seen Stephen A. Smith going pretty hard at old Brett Brown for about 8 minutes solid.
Wait, was this...
What
was he saying? Outcoached, completely outcoached.
Oh, when was the last time Stephen A. Smith coached his team?
Yeah, I don't know when
Every
play out of the timeout was either a turnover or a fumble or a steal, whereas every play out of a timeout, Brad Stevens got buckets. Just putting Ben Simmons back in the game at the end of Game 3 when TJ McConnell had gotten them back from a deficit into a lead, and then he gets pulled. There was a lot of critique, a lot of criticism, and I think a lot of it's easy when you're an analyst and you've never done it before, as you just said.
Fuck that guy, man. Fuck him to hell. Honestly,
it was brutal. It was non-stop. Like
a couple of weeks ago, when Philly went through Miami in 4-1 series, he was on his stupid-ass show proclaiming that Philly were going to go all the way and win the chip this year. He is such a fucking fanboy. He changes his opinion week to fucking week. I might say some shit on this show to some of you listeners, most of them. It's wrong, but at least I fucking stick to my word. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least I stick to my fucking word. God damn. And then he's doing that shit. Get the fuck out of here.
It was bad. Like, it was a full-on call-out.
Did he ever think that Brett Brown might have put Simmons in to say to him, hey, I've got confidence in you, buddy. I believe in you. Like, Brett Brown is a coach that likes to give his players confidence. He's not one to fucking rip into them all the time, unlike Stephen A. Smith would be, clearly.
How are you going to teach your young rookie squad, your franchise player is not going to get any better if he's sitting on the bench, whether that's winning or losing. They're not going to get any better. Fuck that guy.
Exactly. Look, the only good thing about Stephen A. Smith's show is Max Kellerman. That's the only good thing about that show.
Yeah, I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, I try not to watch it, man, but I remembered... Sorry.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I remembered clicking on that stupid rant that he had about Philly, and I was just like, man, this is still a young team. They're super impressive, but I don't know if it's just like fanboy fans or the casual NBA fan. Like, I don't know if they just don't get it. Like, these guys are rookies for a reason. Like, they're still wet under year. Like they're probably not going to go through. Like, yeah, they look impressive when they're running through a team like Miami, but I mean, if they go up against a heavyweight, they're going to struggle. They've got, I don't know, they've still got to, get their nicks and scars.
I still like their matchups. I still think they can get it to 7. I still think they're in this series.
Oh, 100%.
They haven't been blown out. They do need to have a look at some of their matchups, and they do need to go into the post a little bit more and play a little bit more inside out rather than outside in. And, I still think there's time to adjust. It's not like they've been blown out in any of these games. They've held leads in all 4 games.
All this is backlash to is Simmons having a shitty 1-point game, which is fair enough. If you're going to be...
Yeah, but he did heaps of other things as well to help.
Agree.
The team.
I agree.
That's what shits me.
I agree with you. But, they needed the points as well. Like, they did need that, and that didn't help. Oh, my God. The OT, how many turnovers can you have,
Oh,
That was brutal to watch, especially if you were rooting for Philly. You were just like, oh, my God. And if you're a Boston fan, you were just like, are they giving us the game? Like, what's going on? And then Horford was just amazing, that OT. Just took over.
God. But therein lies the difference. They've got that old head who calms the situation down. It's something Philly don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, when you think about it. But
yeah, Redick is almost that guy, but even he's not as battle-tested or has been there, done that.
He's injury-tested.
But credit to Brett Brown. He made a change. He put in McConnell today. And it took a bit of the pressure off Simmons, I think, because he didn't have to create everything. McConnell hit him for some nice passes, and McConnell had a great game. But I think that the key part is it takes a bit of pressure off Simmons having another playmaker on the floor.
100%.
100%.
That was the thing when I did feel like when Simmons was having that 1-point game that they took McConnell off too early. Like, they were making a nice run back, and then Brown switched it back up. Simmons, I was kind of like, well, you might as well just leave McConnell out there. Like, if he's steadying the ship, and actually even today's game, game 4 today, I kind of found it a little bit ironic that Boston got beaten by McConnell, who kind of just feels like a Boston-esque player.
Because he's white?
Yeah. Tough as nuts, white.
Have you heard the latest rumour about JJ Redick?
Oh, no.
Might be coming over to the purple and gold. I'm just putting it out there.
Get out of here.
That's what I read today.
Who said that?
Wow.
Just having a look-see over there, see what's going on.
Wants to come back to LA, does he?
Yeah, just having a look-see. They might want to play with the fantastic point guard we've got.
I'd find that surprising. I think he's in a pretty good situation in Philly right now.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, fair enough.
I like that rumour. I'd take him.
Oh, yeah. Better than freaking KC Poo.
Do you think this turns into a 7-game series, or do you think Boston kind of put the stranglehold on?
I sort of want to agree with what Benson said before. I can see Philly going into Boston and just going, we'll take another one. I think you got to keep McConnell in. I think he has to play well and keep the pressure off Simmons a bit. But I want to see, like Benson said, go inside. I want to see Embiid just have a big dominant game, hit some big shots. And I'd also like to see Saric stop taking so many goddamn threes.
I know.
What all of a sudden he's just a 3-point shooter? No, do what you do best, mate. Just pick and pop, pick and roll, hit the J, rebound. That's all we ask.
You know why? I've worked out why Ersan Ilyasova gets so many fucking offensive rebounds. because he misses so many shots next to the basket. He's a stat patter. It's fucking ridiculous. Man, if he could hit a shot that close to the basket, he'd average 1 rebound a game. I do like him, though. I actually, look, I'll go on record, and I might sound silly if they get beat next game, but I think Philly can win the series.
Wow, big call.
I hope they do. And then all the Simmons grief can shut the hell up. He just, one game, and okay, he scored 1 point, and yes, they did need the scoring. He did so much more. Like, he does so much more. Like, one game, geez, give me a spell. But
They've got so many good matchups. Like, they should be exploiting when Bellinelli's on. I mean, he's 6'6", like he's a big two. He should be, and he's strong enough to back. Like, and he actually likes. He's like Jason Kidd. Like, he likes backing down smaller guards, turning around and hitting a fadeaway. I think they should be rotating Bellinelli more. They've got Ersan, they've got Saric, they've got Simmons, they've got Embiid. Like, I just think they should be, I don't know, just going big and going hard at these guys. Get them in foul trouble, and let your Marcus Smarts and your Terry Roziers, to a degree, let them have a big game, but nullify everybody else.
Yeah, I think game 5 goes back to Boston. I think Boston closes out. I think Brad Stevens will make adjustments, and I mean, we've seen it this series, even with that was the thing. Like, Embiid makes that comment, that how can Horford guard him all game and not have a single foul call? And it's not because the refs are biased. It's because Al Horford this series has been quite masterful.
Yeah,
you spoke it on earlier, Stu, a couple of shows ago. You brought it up then. I'm 100% convinced. And anyone who's been watching this series would be too. I just think Boston are going to close this out in Boston.
Oh, look, I think a lot of my is just, I want Simmons to get through, I want Brett Brown to get through, and I like the matchup on paper. But if you've got to bring heart into it and the intangibles, and then you throw the coach, with all due respect to Brett Brown, I mean, Brad's been there before. He's a very, very good coach, and he's going to have home court advantage as well. So that Boston crowd brings a big element into it. And then when you've got Big Bainesy hitting 3-pointers, you're in trouble.
I mean, I say that, with the deepest respect to Philly. I think losing to Boston in this round is going to do them wonders for future seasons. Do you know what I mean? Because this is going to sting. They're going to feel like the better team. They're all young.
Yeah.
So that's going to mean they're going to put in the work. I mean, look, Cinderella story, they won the NBA Finals this year, right? It's like the ego would be too much, and there'd be this hard crash. It wouldn't really feel like they earned it.
You've only got to look back, 6 weeks ago. These guys are in the middle of what? How many 18-game winning streak?
Yeah.
They know how to win. I think a lot of it's mental. They don't know how to postseason win collectively, but they know how to win. Yeah, I mean, look, I think the odds-on favourite going into Game 5 is going to be Boston to close it out, but I just don't want people to forget that these guys do know how to win. They're young, they're inexperienced, but they do know how to win. So, yeah, I hope it keeps going. It's a good, fun series.
Well, that Houston-Utah series has been pretty fun to watch. Their last game, maybe not so much. More so because I was rooting for Utah, but, man, what a series. It's Chris Paul, man, last game. Oh, pretty good.
Yeah, well, their MVP is still Clint Capella.
That's true. I agree. He played awesome as well, actually, that game. Man, I felt really bad. We're just starting to see what sort of service Exum could give Utah. And then what he did, a hamstring, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. He played fantastic, Dion Harden.
Oh, and he was in attack mode as well in the last game. I mean, he rattled off, I think, 3 straight left-hand layups, like sort of pop shots. Like, he was on. Like, he was in attack mode as well. I mean, yeah, there's certainly glimpses. Somebody on Twitter compared him to like Bambi, like a fawn, like his first couple of years he was all sort of legs and awkward, but like he's grown up on that team. They're not going to let him go. They're really high on him. It's just such a shame. I mean, the guy just cannot get a break with injuries.
It's like he freaking sneezes and hurts himself. Wish him luck. I just want him to get a good run. Continuity is all he needs, and yeah, they do like him a lot, and you can see there's something there. It's just it's so much bad luck, but they miss. Credit to Chris Paul. I mean, geez,
wow.
There's still time for them. There's still time for them to disappear and get injured. There's still another 2 series to go, so just hold your horses.
Did you just give credit to Chris Paul?
I'm not repeating it.
Wow.
Well, fuck Houston. But
That's better.
Utah, geez, they miss Rubio. He just makes them click. Oh, just another guy who just gets injured at the wrong freaking time. Waits 8 years to make the playoffs and does his hamstring. I think if he was there, this series would be a lot closer. He's just that good, Rubio. Well, to me anyway. I've always been high on him, but
yep. No, I totally agree. They are a little bit rudderless at the moment. I think they got away with it in the first 2 games. They I think they kind of surprised Houston at the way that Mitchell was deferring to Ingles, and Ingles was actually running a lot of the offense. And I don't think D'Antoni was prepared for that as a coach, but he seems to have corrected big time to that.
Speaking of D'Antoni, I'm just trying to calm down a bit here. That fool said when he was in LA, he didn't do a lot of coaching. He said that on a radio show. I think it was, or an interview. I can't remember. Yeah, when I was in LA, I didn't do a lot of coaching. No shit. And you wonder why I hate this man.
Vince, you get my Jersey-worthy award for being for controlling yourself when talking about the man Muppet himself, Mr. Pringles, D'Antoni. Like, that must have really killed you too.
If he wins a championship, I'm not sure I can continue being a fan of the NBA. I'll have to weigh up all my options.
Man.
Because that comment, I didn't do a lot of coaching in LA, and after he came in, I know I'm off the rails again, he came in, he had Pau Gasol, didn't adjust to the roster. He made the roster adjust to him. The guy's a fool. I hope he does gets another knee replacement. I hate him so much.
I still feel like Houston. I mean, I said it. Oh, sorry, Stu, you go.
No, I was going to say I don't think you're going to have to worry about him winning a championship. I don't think that's going to happen.
Not either.
Thanks, Stu. Can you guarantee that?
Yeah, I'll guarantee it.
Wayne, do you still call him Dan and Tony?
Sometimes, but more for you.
Is there a chance Rubio's back next game?
That's what I was kind of hoping. I was kind of hoping he'd be back for game 4, but
I think there is a chance. If he comes back, I like it. He's a guy that, whether it be a direct pass or playing it around the top of the arc to get it to, he's a guy that gets Gobert involved a lot. And I think Gobert's been a little bit underwhelming this series, but maybe that's because he's been a little bit underutilized. I think he has a better showing and a better chance of having a bigger impact if Rubio can get back in this series.
Yeah. We've also got the Donovan Mitchell factor.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's a rookie, right? So he doesn't know what he doesn't know. Playoff basketball is a little bit different. It's reffed a little bit differently, and I think he's experiencing that. He had coming up against Harden and Chris Paul.
Well, he's playing a lot of backup point guard right now as well because of the injuries.
Yeah.
So that's, and he had a bad game 4. Not a bad game 4, but not a great game 4. It's funny, I've brought up a couple of times the past couple of weeks how, I feel like it should be a co-rookie MVP award. I think we all pretty much agreed to that a show or two ago. But I made mention, I really feel like the whole Simmons-Mitchell thing, it feels to me like it's queuing up for a whole Magic Bird rivalry sort of thing going on, and people kind of took that to heart. It's really strange. But people were we were talking about that Philly-Boston series. We were talking about all the intangibles that a guy like Simmons brings to the table, right? Vince, you said he had a bad scoring night, but he did so much else on the court, and maybe a lot of stuff that didn't translate to the stat sheet as well. A lot of people's argument for Mitchell not getting the award is because he's just a scorer. He's just a scorer. And I feel like saying, man, he does so much more on the court as well as that.
Yeah, if you're saying that, you're not watching his games.
And you know what? I also laugh at that because they said the same thing about MJ when he hit the league. They said exactly the same thing, man. And look at MJ's career,
Yeah, he was all right.
Did all right for himself, Got a few pieces of jewelry.
Yeah, people look at stat sheets, so, if you're watching these games, Mitchell, I think Mitchell knows some of the time when his shot's not on, or for whatever reason they're not dropping. Like he's getting to the key, he's doing all the work, and they're not dropping. He's playing lanes. He's switching up really well. He's keeping offenses honest because he's always on his toes. He's not taking plays off. If you're having a knock on Mitchell, you're not watching the Jazz play basketball.
I mean, the thing I love about Mitchell, and the thing I think Snyder's touched on throughout this season, is that as good as he's been this year, he's also stayed within his game. And to make that Mitchell's not better than Simmons because he doesn't do this stuff, it's because, he's not asked to do that by his coach. And that's not his game. Like, it doesn't take away from him as the player, though.
And and people say like he's got like a little bit of Westbrook in him, and that he's high usage and when he's got the ball in his hands. But you know what? I can tell just from this one season. You know what? People like playing with this kid. He's going to be fine, and there's not going to be another superstar in the league who goes, you know what? I don't want to get traded there. I don't want to play with Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he's going to get that knock at all. He looks like a great teammate.
I concur.
I'll tell you what, the forgotten rook. We get caught up, talking Simmons, talking Mitchell, and rightly so. But young Jason Tatum is having quite not only an off season, but a post season, but also off the back of a great regular season. The way he just attacks, and he was going at Embiid in that game 3 at the end of regulation and in overtime. Holy shit! Like he's playing like a vet.
I can't wait for that kid. In his 3rd, 4th year in the league, when he's put on a bit of bulk and he's really learnt the NBA system and where he fits. Like, I was thinking about the other day, remember at the draft how, was it Josh Jackson was the guy they were going to take, Boston, and then he snubbed them, went and got signed out in Phoenix. I think they're glad that happened now.
I'm so, like, as a Laker fan, I'm pre-programmed to not be a big Celtics guy. As a Kyrie fan, I props and I love Coach Stevens and I love Al Horford. So, I mean, I've had to begrudgingly really enjoy what I've seen from them this season. But, man, I just think Tatum, I don't want to say that he could be the best of this class because that's going to need a big measure of time. But from what I've seen, his skill set, don't discount him as the potentially the best player to come out of this draft pick in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
He is a great basketball player, and he's really smart.
We really got a good rookie class this year.
What did LeBron say? Probably the best since 2003.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that.
I didn't see that quite. I'd agree with that 100%.
Just to digress a little bit, but still on subject, I don't know if you guys caught, probably not, the presser with Dwayne Casey after them being swept by Cleveland.
No.
When he was talking about, it was thrown, sort of thrown in his face, and rightfully so, like that LeBron is the key factor, for them being swept like 3 years in a row, I think, maybe, by the Cavs. And Casey went on to say, this really sort of bugged me a little bit, but he went on to say that yes, he kind of agreed with that, and that, eventually, we've seen it before. We've seen the Kobes, we've seen the MJs, we've seen the Birds, the Magics, we've seen that fall from grace. And it was kind of like his attitude was like, we've just got to wait LeBron out. Now that is its own thing within itself. And I mean, yes, you could almost make a case for that, especially not knowing where LeBron's movement is after this season as far as the Eastern Conference goes. But then I was thinking, that is a pretty shitty thing to have in the back of your mind, particularly when, look how well Boston are doing this year, and they don't have Kyrie Irving, and they don't have Gordon Hayward. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that Raptors squad is not getting past a full-strength Boston team.
Oh, yeah, but not even inter-conference. I mean, you don't think, like, the Warriors in the last 4 seasons have ever gone into one of those final series going, I'll tell you what, we'd be half a chance if that guy would retire.
Right? I was just like... I mean... So, because I was kind of like... Yeah. Is your attitude like you're waiting on LeBron to start to dwindle off? Like, hasn't that been the biggest thing with LeBron that every, like, friggin' sports network has covered? Is that, what's his 15th year this year, and this looks like his best year.
At year 15, that is insane.
You reckon he's on the peds?
Mate, I don't know what he's on. Oh no, he's going to shut down the pot. He's going to shut us down.
They're Wayne Hunsthorpe of Sydney, Australia, not Stu Benson or Vince Germano. Is that purely
Man, our credit rating is just
Wayne Hunt's thoughts and opinions, not mine or Benson's.
It was just a question. It was just a
There's a
question.
helicopter over my house right now.
You knew I couldn't let it slide, right?
Yeah, it's mine.
And by house he means mansion.
Yeah, of course. But they say, I mean, Maverick Carter and his team say that he spends well over $1 million a year on personal trainers, chefs, dietitians,
On his body, right? Yeah.
training, on apparatuses that he's got and hyperbaric chambers. I mean, this is a guy who realizes that the longevity of his career is hinged on his body. He's not mucking around. I mean, this guy is, as you said, I mean, he's as fit as he ever has been. He doesn't break a fucking sweat. It's not normal.
I mean,
but it's because of his dedication.
I was going to say, he's done what Kobe's done, but he's taken it to like a whole nother 10 fucking levels.
Yep.
And you know what? The thing to that is as well, the thing he has in his favour, because I don't think there's very many players in the league who could do what he's actually doing right now. Well, in fact, there isn't, because the thing that plays in his favour, he's doing all that, plus he's a freak of nature.
Oh, yeah. Genetically, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
At the same age, though, I think Kobe was about 32 when he decided to drop weight, stop eating pizzas and working all that out, because he knew it'd be a longer career. LeBron looks so lean, so fit, and I don't think Kobe did the hyperbaric chambers and all that stuff. I mean, LeBron's just taken it to another, like I said,
he does, man. He does. He does altitude training. He's in masks. He's in sweat gear. He's loaded up with weights. It's so dedicated. I mean, honestly, this guy could be doing this I mean, we've seen MJ play to 40. We've seen Kobe play close. We've seen these guys, but this guy could be a physically dominant specimen at that age. That's insane. Like, I mean, Jordan, with all due respect, didn't look that great at 41, 42 playing basketball.
No.
And honestly, LeBron's gonna. If he decides to play that long, he's gonna. Like, he's not gonna be on the court giving you 15 points a game. He's gonna be dominant. We've never seen anything like him.
I actually have thought in the past that LeBron, he trains a bit like an AFL player trains. Like AFL players, dietitian, they, I only can speak for Collingwood because that's all I know about, but they do the hyperbaric chamber. They've got the altitude training room. It's very much like an AFL player. And you look at an AFL player, most of them are lean. They are defined, but they're not really muscular. They're very lean and quick and a bit like LeBron.
You can say things, and I've been guilty of it as well. The old, but he's 6'8" and he's built like this and built like that. But you know what? There's a shit ton of 6'8" guys in the league who weigh as much as him, but they're not as muscular as him. They're not as cut as him. They're not, So I mean, there is a lot of people who are physically blessed with the same height, same frame, but it's what you do with it. And it's like anything in life, I guess. It's what you do with it. And this is a guy who. You got to remember that these other guys in the league, I mean, even if they're on shitty contracts, they could still throw $1 million at their body a year and look after themselves, but they're not.
Yeah, sure.
And I just think hats off to this guy. He said from day one he wanted to be the greatest or in that conversation. And, man, you can hate on him and you can call him a flopper and all this sorts of shit, but you got to respect the game. I don't want to turn this into the love job podcast for LeBron James, but I cannot be more impressed with a player this postseason.
I think I destroyed that, Stu. I think I destroyed any chance of that. But he does flop. He does flop.
Honestly, and that shot against Toronto, that bank shot. Man, that's iconic. That'll be played for the next century. What a shot!
Yeah. Why wouldn't you throw a double team at their best player with the game on the line?
Yeah, I know, right?
What the hell? Fuck?
I wonder who's going to shoot it. Fuck.
Why wouldn't you press him when he's going to his strong side, which is the left-hand side of the court, which everyone knows? Anyway, I'm not mad at the Raptors. Yes, I am.
Yes, Stephen A. Smith.
Let's go to the final series. the Pelicans Golden State. Pelicans get a game.
Playoff Rondo.
Playoff Rondo.
And can I just say, before you open your big gob,
Okay.
we haven't forgotten about the slap bet, okay?
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Just relax.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I don't want to be accused of nagging.
I'm filming mine completely nude so that the footage will be useless.
Can you send it to me before you send it to me?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, mate.
Now it's awkward.
Is it as good as your other one?
Yeah, that was when I slapped the other head.
I was going to say, make sure you use your hands to slap your face this time.
Well, that's one of your best, Wayne.
It's only taken towards the end of the podcast, but he's fired up finally.
He's awake now.
Look, I predicted, I put it on the Facebook, I stick by it, that I thought Pelicans would get the Golden State Warriors. But even I admit, Warriors look goddamn good. They look like they've... I mean, I think I questioned it last show, their I haven't been super impressed with their focus this year. And, I questioned whether they could just literally turn it on come playoffs. But it looks like they've done exactly that.
Yep.
Do you want to know a funny little inside... well, I don't know if it's an inside story, but there's a little story I heard about Rajon Rondo and Draymond Green's beef. Have you heard it?
No.
Okay, well, last season, was Chris Paul, did Paul Pierce play last season? Yeah, he retired last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, apparently, you know how much Rajon Rondo loves Paul Pierce?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Draymond was telling Paul Pierce, who do you think you are? You're not Kobe, you don't need a...
Wow, really? From that?
Yeah, so apparently that's why Rajon Rondo has just turned back the clock and been playing so well and giving it to Draymond and having
right.
test. Apparently it's because of that. That's what I heard.
like it.
I like the fact that Draymond doesn't want a piece of Rondo anymore now. Rondo is a pit bull and is just in his face in every possession, antagonizing him. It's so fun to watch.
Did you see him rub the ball on his head?
My God, was that not the greatest, funniest thing you've ever seen?
I have never seen anything like that ever.
Take all my sweat on the ball and shoot a free throw, buddy.
Did you see it, Vince?
I got told about it from a mate because I just don't want to watch Pelicans. Sorry.
Question.
I've never.
Sore point.
Insane.
Did he get done for ball tampering? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Man, it was so blatant. Like Andre Iguodala was like, "You fucking serious?"
The ref had to wait before he got the ball so Rondo could finish wiping his forehead sweat on the ball across the Spalding. It was amazing. Fuck, I love Rondo.
I have always loved Rajon Rondo.
Oh man.
I love that niggly shit. Like there needs to be more of it. I like Draymond for that reason. I love Rajon for that reason. There's got to be more of that stuff in basketball.
21 assists last game he had. 21 assists. He's going to break the record, right? He's going to break the record.
I hope so.
I would love for him to get 30 plus assists in a game.
Yeah, it's a record that just doesn't seem right to have Scott Skiles' name next to it.
Especially when you look back on the clips and he's in Orlando, pinstripes, short shorts, Come on. And he's got his... I mean, I've kind of got more hair than Scott Skiles did back then,
You don't.
Oh, whoa, settle down.
You don't.
He makes up with a curl or two. All right.
I tell you what, for all the
look better
over Anthony Davis that I've done during the season about just how much of a specimen he is and his height and have we seen anything like him before and how do you compare him to somebody, it's interesting watching the footage and some of the camera angles when, there's a free throw and he walks past Kevin Durant and you realise that Durant's probably got an inch on him and then you think of all the shit that Kevin Durant does off the dribble and he's taller than Anthony Davis. And, man, that guy, he will finish his career as the greatest scorer of all time, I think, without a doubt.
Because the beauty about Kevin Durant is when he gets to that 36, 37 age and he starts to bulk up a little and slows down a bit, he's just going to go to the power forward spot.
Yep, 100%. He's just going to...
And he's got an
shoot over people.
He's got an outside shot. Yeah, already.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. This Warriors This Warriors squad is such a... I mean, I know some people have taken, I don't know, like a weird offense to it. Like, I don't know what all that is about, but, man, they've been such a fun little dynasty to watch.
I love their brand of basketball. Like, do I like them? No, for various reasons. But don't, like, I love Draymond and all that, but they are fun to watch. They play a good brand of basketball. Like, it's... The thing that I love is the passing. Like, I'm a big passing guy. I love watching that kind of ball movement.
Is Klay Thompson, like, super underrated?
Big time.
I think so. I think massively.
I think he moves so well off the ball and defends really well. Like, doesn't get credit for his defensive ability. And I just sort of think, man, he's probably the one I feel like who's sacrificed the most on that team.
Yeah. And he's deceptively quick too.
Yep. I was just about to jump in and say, you know what? If he gets a leak on a fast break, there is no one at his position that's catching him. What is he, 6'7"?
Yeah.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, man, he is such. I don't know if he's sacrificed in the sense that, I mean, he still gets buckets when he needs to. I think he's obviously a vital part of the system, but underrated wise, his defense is just. I think it gets better every season.
Hey Wayne.
Yo.
Do you reckon we're going to get any complaints we talk too much Warriors?
Oh, we'll get complaints no matter what. It's the COURTSIDE Podcast.
There you go.
You can't win.
Bastards.
I'm waiting for my
Peds
comment to blow up.
Oh, my God. Again, people out there,
Calm down.
Wayne Hunt's thoughts, not Lionel Benson.
I just asked the question. I didn't say that was what was happening.
You implied that he was on them.
Misquoted.
Allegedly.
They get regularly tested, wouldn't they? I mean, they know when they're smoking pot and stuff.
I don't know. J.R. Smith said the other day he was going to go have some green, and I was like, wow, you said that to a camera. Like, I'm pretty sure they're just going to test you next game.
Who said that?
J.R. Smith.
Really?
Yeah.
What is wrong with that?
He's a knob. He's a knob.
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Here it comes.